when sex feels like a chore and what it's really telling you.
Your partner's trauma is a gift. The hokey pokey is messing you up.
She saw her touch my penis. My narcissistic behaviors, my managing severe narcissism.
Why are you afraid of rejection?
When sex feels like a chore and what it's really telling you. Welcome to the Morrow Marriage Podcast, guys. And wow, I got a couple reels going mega viral on this exact topic right now. And so I just thought I'd go deeper with Kathryn and you right now. Go deeper with Kathryn. Oh, wow. Well, you can't go deeper if sex feels like a chore. All right, guys, if you don't know, we call it job sex. Job sex is terrible. It's when, one of you is checking sex off the to-do list, okay? And then, of course, we can go to other levels of and types of job sex, fear sex, all that stuff, but you can go look for other episodes. Today, I just want to talk about what it's really telling you, okay? So let's just look at different stages of the marriage and when we can start to break this down a little bit for you, then hopefully you'll have a better understanding of why it's a big part of the reason why we don't have sex life the way we want it to. Mad passion is what I like to describe, mad passionate marriage, okay? So in the beginning, okay, so let's just say you were wild. You're all over each other. You're having sex at least a couple times a day, sometimes more, at least multiple times a week. Most of us would have been at least 2 or 3 times a week. Some of us were like 3 times a day, okay? And so it's more frequent, okay? You're excited, you're happy, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I've never had this conversation with my wife today. It sucks that her voice is fucked up, but I'm gonna put this out there. When we were having sex like 3 times a day when we first met.
I don't remember it being 3 times
Oh
a
my
day.
Gosh, yeah, for sure. Like when you're we'd have sex in the morning, we'd have sex at night.
That's 2.
Yeah, but there'd be like times during the
In the
day at the gym or at,
We
over the piano.
We owned the gym,
Yeah.
by the way.
Or
We didn't just have sex in the gym.
we
we were capable of that, though, actually.
yeah, but it happened.
Anyway,
it happened everywhere.
we had sex a lot.
Right? And I'm gonna say like there's no way that you were as revved up every single time, right? Like
I was hot for you.
you were hot for me, but I'm thinking that like a lot of times it was like I remember this one time over the kitchen counter and I was like, I want you, and you just right there. Same with like the piano was a frequent destination, rendezvous destination. Okay, like Kathryn literally would just be like, okay, and just go. You know what I mean? And so the reason this is coming up for me thinking about it just right now is that because like I think that we start it with a job. It doesn't feel like a job because you're so in love, you're so attracted, you're so excited, you're so butterfly-y, whatever, right? You got
Someone wasn't an asshole yet.
this still went on for quite a while where I was even becoming an asshole, right? And so I just think it doesn't necessarily feel like it, okay? But knowing that most people don't actually need sex morning, midday, and evening, okay? A lot of people don't even need sex more than a few times a week or once a week or whatever your thing is. Knowing that, okay, then I think that's where it begins. It's like, okay, we gotta do it again. Okay, we're gonna do it again, right? You don't recognize it. Now, I think that she had a good point. Most people aren't being assholes in the beginning yet, but I was an asshole pretty quick into our relationship. Within, like right after we got married, there was a big doozy before we got married, and then it all snowballed pretty quick after, right? So I think that's the first one. The second one would be careers and kids. And I think they're kind of parallel, right? You get distracted with life. You get, somebody focusing on a career or both, okay? And it's the same when you have kids. Obviously, the kids become a big focus, okay? And so all of a sudden, connection becomes difficult, okay? Because responsibilities shift. With that, usually we make deals, arrangements for who does what, right? This also happens when you just find each other moving in with each other, by the way, as well, right? So I guess we could have put that first. You start to figure out who's doing what and where, and because distractions are coming into place, Kathryn says we don't live life in a vacuum, okay? Then what happens is all of a sudden you're trying to connect to be intentional. And that's important. There's a role that plays in a healthy marriage anyway, right? Or even on a way to becoming healthy again. right?
And not even just with sex, you have to be intentional with everything.
But I know that there's a big part of men who aren't as intentional with everything. But I would also say the same with women. You know, when you teach the unexpected love triangle, for example, right? Like Kathryn's talking about how the kids become the new loves of the life. And all of a sudden, so like women don't put as much into their husbands. Just like women would say that men kind of drop the romance
Because
stuff.
you don't know how you're going to feel after having a child until you have that child. You are smacked in the face with love. And there's no way that you can understand it unless someone tells you before. And even if they do tell you before, all you can do is be proactive. You're still not going to understand it until that baby is born. And it just overhauls your entire heart. And your poor husband has whatever's left, which oftentimes, if you're not proactive, there's nothing left. Your heart is so full with this new baby. That's why I call it the unexpected love triangle. Because you take the love that you had for your husband, you give it to your baby if you don't prepare in advance to save a spot for the man that you chose first to make that baby with.
100%. And so what happens with this intention, which again, it plays a role within our programs when we're helping to save a marriage. But in the time when you're being distracted and there's noise and there's the different stages of life that are changing, it actually feels more like a job, right? Like let's say you're a wife and you're exhausted with your kids, okay, being up all night. Let's say you're a man and you're high stress in your job, and so all of a sudden you don't feel as intentional. And then what we do though, we go right to the symptom, right? Be intentional with sex, but we forgot we had to be intentional with everything. How much, I don't have my phone on me, but how much you put your phone down when you're with your partner at that time, right? And so, or even today, right? Okay.
Well, don't put your phone down right now. You're probably listening to the podcast on it.
I mean, when you're having a conversation with your partner, right? How often are you distracted with stupid little shit like that? And so we're intentional with the wrong things, okay? And so that's what feeds it. Now you get to a new stage where it really is, the job sex is used to manage emotions, right? Meaning there's poutiness, there's shutting down, there's ditching our responsibility. That's doing your responsibilities. Responsibility.
Responsibility, is that what you said?
No, responsibility. Yeah, I think I don't know. So if you're focused on, your emotional regulation, you can't use sex to manage. So because otherwise, it's like someone really does have to do a job. Well, fuck, I don't want him or her to not do X, Y, Z. So I'm gonna have to put out. Okay, I don't want the angry outburst. I'm gonna have to put out. Well, now it really is a job. Like it full on is a job. Okay. And especially when you get into deeper levels where it's like, it's more, later stages of life where the fighting is such a roller coaster. We have highs and lows, right? And all of that when you don't know who you're expecting to be working with here. You know what I mean? Like who's shown through the door? How fast will it switch? Things like that. Now it really is a job, okay? And if we get to this part, we have to realize that no matter what stage you're at, if you don't really feel connected with your partner, right? Then you're going to feel disconnected, and you're gonna do things wrong all the time. Okay? That's where we get people that are passive aggressive in their comments, right? And that's where we get people that are actually straight up mean with their comments. That's where we get to defend ourselves, we're so great, and when we attack our partner, they're not. Okay? What is this telling you? All the same thing. You're disconnected and you're selfish, right? If you sit there and blame instead of understanding your partner, you know how fast it would have been if I would have learned emotional regulation and if I would have just come to you, baby, and I just would have like not been a pouty baby when I didn't have sex or when she wanted to say no. If I actually was connected enough to see that she didn't want to do it, instead of being mad at her for not being as exciting in the bedroom, right? And not really feeling the connection, wouldn't it have made more sense, baby? Otherwise, like basically, what did Kathryn always say? This isn't helping. All night lectures, all night talks, fighting, screaming. You know what I mean? And if you guys can understand it, it's always the same thing. Creating disconnection. Go back to the beginning so I can prove this for you. In the beginning when it's wild and Kathryn's giving herself to me every time I say I want it. Okay? Best intentions. She said whatever she said about being married and the gift for us and all that stuff, but in no way, shape, or form is that normal. I mean, you guys, we all have different normals, don't get me wrong. but it's just not normal to be like twice in a row, morning, middle, night. Like you're asking a lot of your partner, a lot.
For yourself, forget about your partner for a second. What is it that's making you have that desire and that need 3 times a day? Why do you have the need? Maybe that's why I don't remember having sex 3 times a day. I didn't have the need for it 3 times a day. Like he said, I was giving myself to him 3 times a day. So not only the expectation of what he is expecting of me, but what about the reflection on himself? Why do I think, because you don't need it, think that you need this 3 times a day?
And what it is to feel love. So basically, men always say, well, I have such a high sex drive, right? What you're doing is you're positioning your sexless marriage by creating a forced or a job that she has to check off the to-do list. I'm talking about men, for example, and men, they don't realize if they don't. What I needed wasn't sex 3-5 times a day. What I needed was to have connection with my wife. What I needed was to heal my insecurity. What I needed was to not be afraid of losing Kathryn. What I needed was all these other things that I was trying to pull or suck the life out of Kathryn in order to fill me up, right? And this is what you realize later when you are talking or lecturing or fighting with your partner about why they should want you, why they're doing it wrong, why they're not loving as much as you, why you think you need it. Like I used to say, and I still believe this, some people like Netflix and I like sex. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times when I'm with Kathryn, I'm like, I'm home. Right? It's something that I commonly say, right? It's my favorite place to be is another thing, right? But that's not all there is. Because even if I look back, then I didn't understand what I was trying to do. I was trying to take from Kathryn.
For those of you who thought that was really sweet, when he says, when I'm with Kathryn, I'm home, that is sweet, but he doesn't mean when he's with me. He means when he's inside of me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm home. Some of the women were like, that's so sweet. It is sweet. But what he's trying to say is he feels most at home when we are intimately together, which is still sweet. But I just wanted to clarify for all the ahs that I just heard.
Well, thanks, baby. But actually, that's also where I was going, because now, fast forward, understanding who I was before and this life that I was draining or taking from Kathryn, okay, in order to feel good enough about myself, to feel strong and powerful or whatever, okay? When a man feels that way, he doesn't realize that what he's sacrificing is all the other levels of connection that, like, I do love being at home with you. I'm unpacking and building a lot of stuff at the new place, and Kathryn came out to sit with me while I was building the patio furniture yesterday. She says her love language, proximity, the one that she created, right? Well, I love that. I feel very deeply connected to Kathryn when she sits with me while I'm doing something, building something or whatever, right? And so what you don't realize is what it's telling you is that you have, when you do this job sex thing, is telling you that you're using your partner to feel alive. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful byproduct. It is my favorite places to be inside Kathryn. But there's so much more with Kathryn and me that goes much further than just physical intimacy. And if you can understand that those connection pieces are all what gets sacrificed along the way, with all the easily distracted things that come at you in life, easily distracting things that come at you in life, promotions, children, new dreams, renovations is a big one for you guys, money problems, all these fucking things. They don't break you if you stay connected. Okay? All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.